Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about some of the parts that come with these kit guitars. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here. I hope you guys welcomed the new year. Well, you really had no choice, but hope you guys were all safe. Now, again, this is about kit guitars, and as you guys know, I've built a lot of them. So I kind of know a little bit about the kit guitars, what to look for, what not to look for, the problems, the issues that you're going to have with them. And from reading a lot of forums and reviews on Amazon about some of these kit guitars, there is a saying, you get what you pay for. Now, the kit guitars that I've been building, I've been going anywhere between the last kit that I built, the Solo, it's called a company called Solo, Bargain Musician, Cozart, and then there was a no-name company that I ended up buying from Japan, directly from Japan. That was a $250 kit guitar that came with fake Grover tuners on there, and I ended up replacing those with real Grover tuners. There was just too many problems with the tuner as far as just turning them and just, yeah, got rid of them. I wish I would have kept the video of that because I ended up taking apart that tuner and comparing it with actual Grover tuner, and you can really tell a difference, especially in the quality of plating, to tell if it was a fake or not. Now, on all these kit guitars that I've purchased, it's been anywhere between $140 to $150 or $250. I mean, as far as the price range goes, and I've never had a problem with any type of a twisted neck. As far as the frets go, that's something I don't trust to begin with. I look down the neck and I kind of test out the frets to see what they look like and how they are and stuff. The most problems I've ever had with the kit guitar frets were scratching on top of the frets. Like they were kind of like, I don't know, somebody hit it with a piece of sandpaper or something and they had some scratch marks in it. But I do a leveling job. I do a dressing on them, I do the crowning on them and polishing on every kit guitar that I've done. I don't trust the frets, sorry. But that's just the way it is. As far as the nut goes on these kit guitars, they all come with basically the same type of nut. I got 3 of them here, two Telecasters and a kind of like a Gibson style nut. They're all plastic. All right, now the action height is very, very high at the first fret. That's not something they do for you. So you're going to have to set that yourself. What I've got here is kind of like a Gibson Les Paul style nut. And as you can see, they're hollow on the inside. Now, again, the action height is very high. So once you take your fret file and you start adjusting your action height at the first fret, I've already went through to the hollow part of this. So I kind of recommend, if you care about it, like I do, get a bone nut or a tusk nut, replace the one that's on there. You can get some of them that are direct fits. You're still going to have to adjust the action height on the first fret, but you won't have to worry about going through the nut to the hollow part of it. As far as the pickups go on these things, now these kits all come with the same shit. I mean, it's like the same pots, the same pickups, the same type of switches, the same type of the wiring is all the same. Okay, now this is the first kit that I purchased, which was a blue Les Paul that I ended up staining, and with the 3 red roses or 2 red roses that I put on there. And the reason why I only have the bridge pickup is I took the neck pickup apart just to see what was inside of it, to do a demonstration a long time ago, which I no longer have that video. And come to find out that this has got an epoxy back on there. When I got the cover off, it was packed with wax on the inside of here, and there was rails on this pickup. This doesn't have the pole pieces on it, it's got rails on it. And I kind of still kept this one around because I was going to do something with it, but I'm not too sure if I am or not. But the other pickups that come with these kits, now there's a wire pattern here, a color code that you're going to notice. It comes with all of these kits, all right? You have a yellow for your bridge and a red for your neck, all right? Sorry, let me rephrase that. You have a yellow for your neck and a red for your bridge. Sorry about that. And they're basically the same pickups all the way around, all the time. They got a very, very thin coating of wax on them. Sometimes you feel it on the back of it, sometimes you don't. Well, this one here, this cover was just glued on, so without damaging the pickup, I popped off the cover. As you can see, there's glue inside there. I don't see any wax, hardly at all, on any of this. You do see a little bit of a coating on the bottom of the where the magnet is, but that's about it. And a lot of these have ceramic magnets inside of them. Now, I have a set of chrome covered Les Paul style pickups as well. And again, you have the red for your bridge and the yellow for your neck wire. So it's basically pretty much standard with these things. Now I do have, here's a cover off of an older pickup. I kind of save these because sometimes I'll put these on a different pickup. And you can see on the inside, right at the bottom over here, that there is wax. You can see it. This one here basically had the top, it was filled with wax over here, not a lot, but it was coated. So they did put some wax there. Now I like to use especially for like the Les Paul style guitars or the control configuration, I like to use the Pro Buckers by Epiphone. There is a big significant difference in weight between this pickup and a kick guitar pickup number one. I just think they have a better sound quality. Now, these kick guitars come with, a lot of these. You have your pickup surround rings, your mounting rings, all right? As you can see that for this and this one as well. Now, the problem with this is that if you're going to replace the pickups on something that uses a ring around pickup, I would suggest buying new rings as well. And here's why. This is the Epiphone Pro Bucker. That one slides over pretty good. Now, these are all kit rings. That one's very, very tight when it starts getting on there. That one slides over okay. That one slides over okay. That doesn't go over it okay. Okay, so unless you plan on wanting to have to file or sand these down to fit over your pickup, I would suggest that you would purchase the rings with the pickups. That way you won't have to go through the hassle. Now, as far as like a three-way switch goes, well, a lot of these kick guitars will come with a box switch. All right, three-way. They will work. Now, Ibanez was coming out with some of these inside of some of their guitars as well, back in the day. They do work. Okay, they're not very noisy or anything else, but you do hear the switching back and forth. They work, so they're not too bad. But if you really want to get nitpicky and replace the pickups and replace everything else, then by all means get a new switch as well. Your pots. Now these come with the CF pots. Now I looked up the model number or the part number that's on these, and these are 250K pots. All right, now they feel pretty good. They don't feel like they're crappy pots at all. But you could buy a bag of these damn things off of eBay or Amazon for a few bucks. So they're not tip-top quality, but they do work. The only thing I noticed with these though, is on the tone control and the volume control, is when you start turning down the volume on it, and you'll hear the slope as the sound decreases. But once you get up to a certain point, it cuts right there. The output jack. These output jacks aren't bad. You can get these at Radio Shack and shit. It's pretty much kind of like a standard, all right, as far as what Radio Shack would sell out of the box or out of the bag or out of the drawer. But I do recommend one thing on these before you install them. Bend this down a little bit. As you can see, I have it pretty much where you don't see the opening of the hole. Before I bent it down, you were able to see more than half of that hole. The reason why I say to bend this down, when you plug in your jack or plug in your patch cord, sometimes when you move the patch cord around a little bit, it'll cut out on you. All right, this kind of guarantees that it's not going to cut out you. It puts a little bit more pressure on the plug and keeps it in place. You don't get no noise, no staticking, no nothing, no cutouts, no nothing. It helps out a lot. Now these are pretty strong. They're not weak at all. They got some tension in them. They are springy. So when you push it down a little bit, be very, very careful not to add too much pressure to where you bend it all the way down. Because when you pull this back up, that weakens that over there, and you could split it and crack it, and then you're fucked. But they're not bad jacks. They're not the best, but they're not bad. The only problem with it I've noticed with it is the plates that come with. Pretty much you'll get a standard plate, either black or chrome like this one, and they have a curve to them. Okay, the curve is supposed to meet up with the body of the guitar. Well, when you have a flat body where the pickup jack or output jack is, this curve is going to suck. Now on the blue guitar, which I'll show you that. This pickup output jack, keep on saying pickup, sorry, output jack, I had to flip around because this has a curve going inwards, not outwards. So I had to flip it around, otherwise I would have a space here and a space here. Now I did kind of bump it out a little bit, not much, but I hardly even noticed it. Kind of one of those things where, you know, they could have done a little bit better with this. And you can't really bend this very well because of the arch in it and because of the way it's stamped right here. It gives it strength, so bending it to fit right is kind of a problem. What else? Oh, a lot of these kick guitars, as far as, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, I don't think I have, but this one here is a Bargain Musician kick guitar. Okay, it's supposed to be kind of like the gem style Ibanez. Now this one has a locking nut on there, which is kind of cool because this locking nut is also adjustable for your action height at the first fret. There are 2 set screws, one on each side, and there's a back plate on there. So you do, when you mount it in on the top, you can adjust these set screws down and you can either raise it or lower that nut, which is kind of cool. I wish they would do this on like the Federal Special nuts. Because some of them are, the action height is a little bit high at the first fret. Now, let's get to the neck and the body of these guys. All right, a lot of these kick guitars, you may see scarf joints. All right, you'll see a little joint over here, a little scarf joint. A lot of these kick guitars you may see, especially on the necks that are set, you might see a heel joint at the bottom. Some of them, you may get lucky. You may not have that problem at all. You may not see it at all or even have one. The Les Paul style kick guitar that I built, there was a mahogany mahogany body and a mahogany neck. There was no scarf joint and there was no, sorry about that, that's the dryer. And there was no heel joint on the bottom of the neck. Maple necks, you'll see a lot of maple necks on these kick guitars. Again, I have not found one that had a twisted neck. The frets on them are not sharp on the edges to where it's going to cut me or anything, and I didn't do anything to dress this one. Bargain Musician, I guess they did, wherever they get their kits from, they take care of that. Again, I did do a level job on this neck. The inlays on these things, even on the like Les Pauls where you got the block inlays or whatever, the crowns or whatever they call them, they do a fairly decent job. Not the best, but they do a fairly decent. You don't feel the inlay at all, but when you look at the inlay, you can see they added filler to it. All right, and in some cases, you kind of have to be really on top of it to see it. This one here, from a distance, you won't notice it, but when you're on top of it, you can see that there's filler all the way around each one of these mother of plastic inlays. The bodies on these guys, okay, now this is where some of you guys will nitpick the body of the guitar as far as, you know, feeling. Now when you feel the body of your vehicle or your wife or your girlfriend or anything, use the, I'm going to try it again, there should be one more after this. Use your fingers to kind of feel if there's any problems in the wood. If you feel something in the wood where it bumps out a little bit, you know, perfect timing is before you finish it to sand it to fix that problem. I haven't noticed anything really major bad with some of these kits, but you do feel like maybe there might be a little bit of a wave over here or something may not feel right over here. Well, that's why it's rough. These are all rough bodies, and you're going to have to do some sanding. That's when you correct that. A lot of times on the bottom where you get the cross grain over here to where you're going to have to smooth that out. And if you do any staining, like I do a lot of staining with all these guitars, that grain kind of pops out when you hit it with something that's wet, you know, water or, you know, water-based stain or oil-based stain. It kind of pops out a little bit. So you're going to have to address that really good to smooth it out. Sometimes you'll have a problem where you'll feel that like in this area over here as well, where they cut into the body. The pocket over here where they did the The monkey grip, okay, that's rough cut as well, so you're going to have to do some sanding in there to smooth that out. And you can see, it's pretty much, there's really no problems with this guy. Everything kind of smooth and nice. Even the flames, the cutouts, the horns, they're really nice. They're not bad. This was pretty decent as far as a kick guitar build goes. The body did have a little bit of problems here and there, but sandpaper is your friend. I do, however, recommend if you're going to use like a 220 grit sandpaper to go to like a 400 grit sandpaper to remove the scratches from the 220, because if you do apply stain, that stain is going to get into those cuts, those scratches in the wood, and you will see those scratches in your finished product. Now, this has been done with rub-on poly. The whole body has been done with rub-on poly, including the neck and the headstock. And it's held up very, very well. Now, on that guitar there, and you'll see this with Strats as well, your pickups and your controls, your 3-way switch or 5-way switch are all mounted to the pick guard, all right? Check that before you put your guitar together, okay? So hook up your output jack, plug it into your amp, and start tapping on each pickup, switching the switch, using the volume and the tone control, because in some cases, like that one there, the pickups are wired up wrong to the 5-way switch. So I end up having to correct that before I put the guitar together. So test things out. I recommend dry fitting everything on the guitar, maybe not putting the sleeves in for your Tune-o-matic bridge or your tailpiece, but check things out, dry fit things to make sure that everything is going to be lining up properly, everything fits right before you start getting into the build. You can always correct it before the build. After it's built, you're kind of stuck with it. So now another thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to use this guitar because this is the only one that has one. I have not messed around with anything like a, say like a Fender style tremolo or anything like that, but I have kind of like a Floyd Rose Special up. Now, they say license under Floyd Rose patents, which I'm not too sure about that at all. Considering that if you put a Floyd Rose Special on here, you're going to have to plug and re-drill out these holes because they don't match the plate for a Floyd Rose Special. On the other hand, these are not good quality at all. They don't stay in tune very well. You are going to have to do some work with them. Now on this one here, I put a block behind it, so I can't pull it backwards. I can only push down on it. It stays in tune pretty good the way I have it set up right now. If I would remove that block and be able to pull back on the whammy bar, the springs pop out of the block on the back of the Floyd Rose. Now, that's not supposed to happen. So I put a block behind it, it's locked in place. These tuners suck as far as these fine tuners go. The bottom of these fine tuners are not flat. They're kind of like wavy a little bit. So as you're turning them, you get close to being in tune, but you hit that high spot or low spot, and now it's completely off again. So very poor quality as far as the Floyd Rose goes. Again, this is the Bargain Musician guitar. That's what it comes with. You can change it out if you want. The opening for the cutout will fit a Floyd Rose Special, but be prepared to plug and re-drill your holes for your mount for it. Now, another thing is this is the paperwork that comes with the solo kick guitar. This has everything inside of it, from wire diagrams to basically string height action at the nut, your neck relief, adjusting intonation. I mean, everything that you need to know as far as tuning setup and what to do with the body of the guitar and how to do it is all in this paperwork right here that Solo supplies with their kick guitars. Bargain Musician also supplies some paperwork with information on it to basically get you on your way so you're not left scratching your head trying to figure out what to do. Some kits don't. The Cozart's kick guitar did not come with any paperwork. Also, the Japan or China, whatever, Red Les Paul kit did not come with any paperwork either, as far as putting it together, what to do, how to do it, how to set it up. So again, you get what you pay for with these guitar kits. If you spend a little bit more money, you get a little bit of a better quality of a cutout as far as your body goes. Again, I have not seen any twisted necks. I haven't really seen too many fret problems. I haven't seen too many overlapping frets to where I had to file or cut the fret ends in order so you didn't slice up your hands. The necks on these, however, I gotta say, the Telecaster that I just built, the neck profile, it's a little bit on the chunky side, okay? It's not really, really heavy. I've seen a lot more thicker profiles on necks, but it's not bad. The Bargain Musician one, it feels almost like an Ibanez neck. Almost. I'm not going to say it is. It could be a little bit more flatter as far as the profile on the back goes. The guitar that I just finished, the Cyborg, that one there has a little bit of a chunky neck to it. You're going to see that on a lot of kick guitars. The necks are going to be on the heavy side as far as how thick they are. You can sand that down for your profile that you are more comfortable with before you finish it. So you do have that option. There's a lot of options that you can go with as far as building a kick guitar. You don't have to use the parts that come with it. You can just use it for the bones, the body and the neck. Now, I have seen where the holes that are pre-drilled for a bolt-on neck don't really match up with other profile necks that you say if you want to put a, I don't know, maybe a Fender Telecaster neck on your guitar kit or something. Those holes that are drilled out may not match up. Okay, it's a different type of a pattern. Sometimes when they drill out these holes for their necks, they're a little bit more outwards than inwards, and you do have room to drill new holes and have that neck fit whatever project you're working on, but be prepared to have to drill holes. They don't match. What else? I'm trying to think here if there's anything else that I forgot about these. You can use the hardware electronics if you want to. Now, I have come across some just pretty shitty tuners. Those were the Grover wannabes. The tuners that I've been using on these kick guitars are pretty much the ones that come with these kits now. I haven't been changing them out to Grovers, and I've had no problems with them. They feel good to turn. They don't feel grindy. They don't feel like they're catching something. They move pretty smooth, and they seem to hold their own as far as tuning goes. So they're not really that much of an issue. As far as the cheaper kick guitars, I think there is a lower quality tuner that they throw in the box with some of these other kits. From what I've been reading, and in some of how they look, there is a little bit of a difference between them. So I'm kind of wondering, again, if they are lower quality than what they've been throwing in the little bit more expensive kits. So all in all, as far as my experience of building these kits, they've been fun. It's been a learning process as far as how to fit things the way they're supposed to go. Doing the body and fender work and stuff like that, I kind of know what to look for as far as body lines and if there's a wave or and how to correct that. But it's been a learning curve as far as building these guys, and I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed sharing what I've been doing with you guys, and as you guys follow the build as it's being done. I'm not going to say every kit is a good kit. I'm sure there are a lot of kits out there that have their problems, but I haven't came across any. The last kit was a solo kit. I built two or three Bargain Musician kits. And I really haven't came across any major issues. The only kit that I came across that had a lot of problems with it was the Cozart. The Cozart kit had a lot as far as just the wood was real shitty to work with. A lot of problems that need to be corrected in the wood as far as waviness goes and whatever. That kit there, I would say I would kind of stay away from. But I think that was the cheaper kits of them all that I purchased was the Cozart kit. I don't know how the Cozart guitars that are already pre-built that they sell on eBay goes. I don't know how they are. I have heard good stories about them, but their kits are not all that great. And I don't think Cozart is actually making their own kits. I think there was a stamp in the pocket for the neck that I want to say was a SK or something like that, or a GK, or it had a different type of a stamp that was burned into the wood, kind of like a branding. So I don't even know if they're making their own shit, and who knows what those Kozark guitars are, if they are actually a kick guitar that somebody put together. But in my experience with them, I would never build another one of those kits again. So I would go with a solo. I would go with a bargain musician. In some cases, I would order from the Japan company that I ordered from. That was $250 for that Les Paul. Les Paul was a pretty decent kick guitar out of the Les Pauls that I've built. So there you have it, my thoughts of a kick guitar. It's been fun, it's been interesting. I've learned a lot from them, and time for a change. I want to start building my own bodies. Maybe not my own necks, but start building bodies. Next I'll get into probably a little bit later on. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it answered a lot of questions about kick guitars. Again, you get what you pay for, and don't expect a piece of wood to come out of the box being in perfect condition to be finished. You are going to have to work on them. That's why they call them a kick guitar. When you build a model airplane, or you build a model boat, or you build a plastic model, there's a lot of stuff you're going to have to do to make that model, into a car, into a boat, into a plane. A lot of things you're going to have to trim, or file, or sand, or whatever. Kick guitars the same way. What can I say? You guys take care. Enjoy your days. Sorry this was so long. Hope you enjoy. Take care.